Hey guys, this is how to set up Ethernet IP communications with a SICK camera, and I'm using an Omron Sysmac Studio, Omron PLC. The first thing you're going to need to do is get the EDS file for the SICK camera, and they don't make it easier. So the best way I've found to do that is just go sick.com downloads. Go to the downloads, and they package it with the firmware for some reason. So the best way I found to do this, go to software, all filters, category is firmware, product segment is machine vision, product, I'm using Inspector P62X, but obviously pick the one you're using, show results, firmware, accept. I think you got to be logged in to do this. I keep getting this error. I downloaded it like a week ago with no issue, so I don't know what's going on, but you should be prompted with a download here that will contain the EDS file. So if you have your camera connected, you can just go to the IP address, and this is our camera. This is what we're looking at right now. If you need to update the IP address of the camera, you actually need something called SICK App Manager. You can download it here. I think it's free. I know it's free. You might have to log in. Somewhere in here is how you get it. And then once you have it, to update the IP, very simple. You just start the software. This searches for the devices. And this is the device it found. If you need to change the IP, click on the device, click Edit IP address, edit it here, it'll apply it, you'll be good to go. Okay, inside of Sysmac Studio, we will start a new project. We can do SICK IP sample, controller NX102 is what I'm using, 9000, and I'm on 1.50, create. Alright, the workflow for pretty much setting up any Ethernet IP device. Start with your data, global variables, and we will create a variable for the inputs and the outputs to the camera. So first we'll do in from SICK, insert, and we'll do out to SICK. These will be type array 0.129 of byte, and that's 130 bytes because 0 and 129 inclusive. And same for the output. All right, we will declare the in from SICK as an input, out to SICK as output. This is kind of what says it is a device for Ethernet communication. So once we have this, we go to Tools, Ethernet IP Connection Settings. Double click on the node, the port you want to use. And the easiest way to do this is click Registration All. This basically identifies whatever is an input and output from that global page and identifies it as a Ethernet IP or some communication device. And also this is the name of the tag. So register. So the name of the tag is what we made in the global variables, and this is what it's calling it. It just uses the same name, but if you want to change it, you can here, but we'll leave it what it was. And you have the output right here. All right, next we click on this button, which is connection, I guess. So this is where we add the EDS file. So we'll do display EDS library. I already have it here, but if you do not have it, click install, and you would navigate to wherever your EDS file is. You probably have two EDS files if you downloaded that firmware package and you want the latest, which is 102, 102 at the end. I already have it, so I'll cancel, but you should open it. All right, to add the device, we go to this target device window right here, click the plus button and enter your address. Mine is this. Model name, go to whatever your device is. Mine is Inspector P62X and revision 1. Button on here becomes available, so click add. Now you drag the IP over to the window. All right, so this target variable thing, common thing for Ethernet IP, is just a number, even though it's called a variable. The neat thing about Sysmac is if you start typing, like we click a 1, and it'll prompt us with a couple options. So if you were to do like a 2 or a 3, it doesn't do that, but we will do a 1, and the correct number for this application is a 101, and that is 130 bytes, which we know from the variable we made, that's the size we want. If you were to click the other one, 103, it's only 66 bytes. Not that our global variable determines this, but it is worth noting that we obviously want the one with 130 bytes. And for output type of 1, and we want the 100, which is again 130 bytes. If these bytes are correct, this will be auto-filled with the right variable. Like if we would have done 103, which is only 66 bytes, we have no options because that is not the size of our array. So click the correct ones, in from SICK, out to SICK, and that's how you set it up. So to transfer everything from Sysmac to controller, there's kind of some specific steps here. First thing you want to do is set up your PLC communications. So controller communication setup, we are using EtherNet through a hub or a switch. The address of our PLC is this. We can do test connection. So I know this is correct, so I'll hit it again. Now it's okay. So okay. And then next thing you want to do is in this configuration and setup, your Ethernet setup, controller setup, built-in Ethernet IP settings. Make sure this address is right. So my PLC is 1.10. They're red because they both have this 251, port 1 and 2. They have this 251 subnet, but I don't want port 2, so get rid of that. And the importance of this is you can connect to it based on what you set up here. This is its current address. Once I download the project, it'll apply this address. But since I don't want it to change, I want to make sure these are the same. So there's kind of two steps to doing this. You can, if you're only changing Ethernet IP settings and you're happy with what's on the PLC, once you connect with the connect button here, okay, this is saying our name and ID doesn't match. This is because the name of the PLC is NX102. The name I have right here is new controller. I actually do want to update this because it's kind of annoying seeing it say new controller. If you want to do that, right click on the little PLC icon here, rename. We'll rename it NX102. Reconnect. I don't know why it does this. Once in a while, it takes twice to ever connect to it, so I'll click retry. Now it's on there. So now that we are online, we can just do this transfer to controller, and that will only apply the settings we have in Ethernet IP. Since this is a new project, what we want is to transfer the whole project. So we do this to controller, and you can see two things. First of all, this is the Ethernet IP setting. So if we uncheck this, it will apply Ethernet IP settings. Second, we have this checkbox, which is just the PLC data. And actually, since this is a new project, one thing I want to do real quick is if we go to CPU rack, I'm online, and so I can right click and do compare and merge with actual unit configuration. So I have some cards on my PLC rack, but it starts as an empty template, so I'll do apply. Now we have the same, this is what's actually in my control panel. Click OK, go back to the download to controller. I will also uncheck this, so it'll apply all of our settings we've done, and click execute. When it's finished, you get this nifty window. If your IP address changed, it'll probably hang up for a little bit or tell you it lost connection. And then make sure if you did change your IP address, you go back to controller and communication setup. Mine's grayed out because I'm online, but change that to what your current IP address is. And then kind of two ways we know this worked. First of all, we have no alarms here. If our IPs were wrong or the size of our arrays were wrong or something like that, this would be red. And then also if we go back to our Ethernet list, which you can also get to tools, Ethernet IP connection settings, right click, monitor. We have a blue node for the camera. This would be red if you were not talking over Ethernet